Hello everyone, this is Meera and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a parent or a student who has a lot of questions, then trust me, you are in the right place. Every week I get questions, concerns a lot in my DM, and most of the questions and concerns that I see are almost the same, which is why I thought that I should make one video that can actually solve the problems of most of the students out there. So if you are someone who's planning to study abroad, then make sure you watch this video till the end, because this video has the answers for your questions. And subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon so that you will not miss out on any of the future videos. So this is a question which I got from my parent actually, and the parent is asking, is the student choosing MBBS abroad for education or to escape from the NEET pressure? Well, I'll just tell you, focus on your goal, not on rank. We all know the high competition in India. If you are NEET qualified students but with a not very high NEET score, then why not go abroad? If you really feel that you want a government seat itself, you don't want to take up any private seat, and with 1 year of dedication, hard work, commitment, locking yourself in the room, if you're able to increase your score from 200 to 550 or 600, then of course take a drop, prepare yourself for the next year's NEET exam and get a government seat. But if you feel that you really don't want to get into that high competition again, where we already know that there are lakhs and lakhs of students but with very limited government seat, then why not study abroad? You can definitely go for study abroad. This is definitely not a escape route. It is your goal. You want to become a doctor, you don't have the facilities in India, which is why you're selecting abroad. So it's not an escape route. This is a very interesting question I got from a student that if we take admission abroad, should we choose government university or a private university? Again, I'll tell you, in India, if you're going for a government seat, obviously your NEET score should be high and the cost here will be very less, while that is definitely not the case abroad. There are different countries, different universities, but the fees structure will be same. I wouldn't say same doesn't mean the fees will be same in all the universities. And when you're going for any of the university, once you graduate, trust me, there's no difference between a private university student or a government university student. In India, we focus on government seat because the cost will be, very less. However, in different countries, there are many universities, government universities, where the fees is very high. And again, there are some of the universities where the fees is less. I would suggest you not to think about government or private, but focus on the facility that the university is providing. Because trust me, once you come back to India, NMC will never see whether you are a student who came from government university or from a private university. So it makes no difference. Pick a university which has very good facility and that can be very good for your future. Another very interesting question. A student asked that will the tuition fees be same for the next 6 years or will it change in between? Well, I would say it also depends again on country to country and university to university. However, maximum universities, they don't change or increase the tuition fees. If you're a student who has taken admission in this year, or let's say if you're a student who has taken admission with a tuition fees of $4,000, for your next 6 years, the fees will be $4,000 itself. They will not increase. And even if the university plans to increase the tuition fees, they will increase it for the freshman students, for the new students who take new admissions, but not for the existing students. So yes, when you're taking admission, make sure you do have a proper information well in advance, so that you'll know. You can talk to the students who have studied there, so they will tell you whether their fees was increased in between or not. However, maximum universities, they don't increase the tuition fees during the mid of the course. Well, this is not a question, but it's a concern which I have actually seen in many students and parents, and you'll also agree with this. That is, the package looks less when we take admission. However, when we reach us, the cost goes high. Well, I'll tell you why this thing happens. Generally, what everyone does is they calculate only the major expenses. And what are the major expenses? Your college fees, your hostel fees, and your food expenses. These are the major expenses. Based on these expenses, package will be formed. You will also plan your budget. However, once you reach, there will be some or the other miscellaneous expenses that you will have to face. Let's say it can be anything. If you plan a short trip somewhere, that is your miscellaneous expense. If you are sick and you have to visit a doctor, you'll have to buy insurance. That is additional expense. And most of the time parents will never calculate the travel expense, that is the travel from India to the country where you have taken admission. You only calculate the college fees, hostel fees and food expense, and that's how you plan your budget. But that's not actually the case. You'll have to calculate each and every small expenses that any student can actually incur while they are studying abroad. And obviously, let's say if you are talking to someone, if they're giving you the package, they also will not be able to give you the 100% and the accurate figure. It's your responsibility that you actually think what would be the additional expenses that you might have. Let's say if you are a student who's very foodie and if you want to try out many restaurants, your cost will go high. If you like traveling, so you'd like to visit a different places in that country, again your cost will go high. So these are some of the expenses which no one can actually calculate. Trust me, even you will not be able to calculate while you are in India. So the budget that you plan, sometimes it may not match the actual expenses that you incur while you're studying abroad. However, you'll actually get the estimated cost that you'll have to plan before you go for MBBS abroad. Everyone asks about food and hostels, but this is an interesting question. Are the hostels for girls and boys separate? Yes, girls and boys hostel definitely will be separate. Some of the colleges, what they do is they have single building for girls and a separate building for boys. And some of the universities, they have different floors for girls and boys. So yes, there are different countries, different universities with their own rules and regulations. However, nowhere the accommodation for girls and boys is mixed. So obviously it will be separate. Again, very common question. Can students do part-time jobs during MBBS? I have a question. Do you really want to do a part-time job? I would personally say never to rely on part-time jobs to fund your MBBS education. I'm pretty sure if you have gone abroad, then you and your parents must have actually planned everything well in advance. The college fees, everything would be planned. That's why you're in a country where you're only for the MBBS education. Why I would say not to take a part-time job is because you have taken up a course which actually requires a lot of hard work, dedication and concentration. If you plan to do the part-time jobs, you'll not be able to focus on your studies. Let's say part-time job in the first, second year would be okay because that would be your preclinical subjects and you'll be studying the basics of medicine. However, once you start your clinicals, managing time between the work and study will be little difficult. So don't rely on part-time jobs. However, for your question, let me tell you, yes, you can do part-time jobs. But again, it depends on country to country. Some countries do not allow the students who are actually in the country for the purpose of education to do part-time job. Yet again, there are some of the countries where part-time jobs are allowed. It depends on the working hours. So obviously, if you want to do part-time job, you'll still be able to do. So if you want to do a part-time job, then make sure you check for the country before taking admission, because not every country will give the permission to work on student visa. But yes, you can still do that. If something goes wrong, who will help? Let's pray that nothing will go wrong when you're studying abroad. But just in worst case scenario, if something goes wrong, obviously Indian embassy will be there to help you out. So most of the countries will have Indian embassy. So if you are studying in that country and if you face any issue, you can always reach out to Indian embassy through call, or you can also send them an email, or you can also visit the embassy directly. So Indian embassy will be responsible for all the Indian citizens who are not just studying abroad, but who are working abroad, living abroad and settled abroad. So this will be the last question for this video, and it's really interesting. The parent is asking this: if there is a war, then what to do? Guys, let me tell you, whatever happened with Russia and Ukraine is really unfortunate, and it's definitely not very easy for any of the countries to have a war. So I would suggest you pick a country which is geographically, politically and in all the aspects calm. If there's any war that is meant to happen, it won't happen out of the blue. Obviously, some political unrest will be there, and which entire world will know about it. And once you find that there is any country which is not politically stable, which you feel is a threat, then avoid those countries. However, till date, except for Russia and Ukraine war, I haven't seen that any of the students are suffering in any of the countries. Let me also tell you, after Russia-Ukraine war, the number of students going for Russia also increased. So my suggestion to all the parents and students out there would be to understand the country very well, so that you will not have that insecurity of what will happen if there's a war. I'm pretty sure these are your concerns as well, and I really hope that this video was very helpful for you. If you still have a lot of questions or any concerns, feel free to drop in the comment section, or you can also contact me directly on the number that is mentioned in the description box. Now that you have come this far, please don't leave without subscribing and liking, and also sharing this video with your friends who wants to plan for MBBS or any study abroad program. At the same time, hit that bell icon so that you will get the notification on all my upcoming videos. Till then, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.